I'm Rick,
I'm Troy.
and this is Church Farm Whitetails.
On today's episode of Beers and Bows, we'll be talking about broadheads.
But before we start talking about, we're going to give a shout out to Ironstein Coffee, located in Morganfield, Kentucky. Here in Morganfield, Kentucky, they brew their own coffee. They have their coffee beans shipped in from Colombia. It's based in the farming community of Morganfield, Kentucky. We work with farmers in Colombia to bring you the finest coffee beans, and they've got several different selections of roast, and they will completely generate their own roast for your company, your outfit, whoever you want. If you want a coffee that's going to be tailored to your business, reach out to Ironstein Coffee, ironsteincoffee.com. It's iron-steincoffee.com. You can find them on the web. You can find them on Facebook. So we'll go ahead and get started. So today we've got several different broadheads laid out here on the table. And from my experience, I think broadhead use is a personal preference. But everybody has their favorite broadheads, from the G5s all the way to the Rage. I shoot a broadhead that is actually out of Australia, which is True Blue Broadheads. You can look them up on Facebook, Instagram. They even have a website. So that's True Blue Broadheads. But Troy, if you want to go ahead, we'll just get into it. We'll start talking about the different broadheads and what they do. What should you expect from them? What is your experience shooting these broadheads?
Well, I've used most of these broadheads. This year, I actually started. We'll start with a fixed blade. This is the Magnus Stinger Buzz Cut. This is a 150 grain head. I absolutely love the head. It flies great. They're super sharp straight out of the package. You can resharpen them. Downfall to that I had this year is the blood trail. I shot a couple deer with these broadheads, and penetration is on point. I mean, blew through both deer, no blood. I got lucky enough. The one deer ran 75 yards, piled up 10 yards from my truck. The second one, I actually watched her drop. Now, I did shoot a buck with it, and we did a video on that. It was a high shot in the end. Did not penetrate and did not kill the deer.
Do you think it didn't penetrate due to the shot placement?
I think it was the shot placement. If you watch the video, you can see ducks. I mean, the absolute last possible second. And I'm sure it hit probably in the shoulder area, but I don't think it got any vitals. So
I think we ended up determining that deer is still alive.
yes, so. Yeah, we tracked it the day after, gave it plenty of time just in case, and we never recovered it. And
so we could go on forever about the mechanical broadheads versus a fixed blade. And again, I really feel like it's a personal preference, and obviously each broadhead is going to perform different than the other broadhead, but it's also shot placement. Shot placement is a key. You can kill an animal with a field tip if the shot placement's right. The broadhead that I use has a large diameter. I think it's 2-inch cutting diameter. And I should have brought one down, and I didn't. But, I've used several of these here, the Muzzy original fixed blade right here. You can buy at your big box store. Most of these you can buy at the big box stores.
Yes.
In your opinion, Troy, is there a difference in buying a broadhead from a big box store or ordering it directly from a company?
I've had my experience with both. I shot actually this broadhead for years.
And what broadhead is that?
This is a NAP Kill Zone. Again, 2-inch cutting diameter. They're super sharp out of the box. Never had an issue with them. Killed a bunch of deer. Now,
so one thing I noticed about these is, and I didn't really care for, is how it slides in this channel here. When it's initially closed, let me get a little tough.
Yeah, that one's a little. Oh, that's my target broadheads.
So when it's initially closed, it's it's like this right here, and then when it opens, it's got to slide through this channel. And I just feel like, and another thing about it is you've got to maintain your broadheads. If it's got any dirt or if they're the dullness of them, I can see getting some dirt or some grime or something in here affecting how this will operate. Yes. That's always been a drawback for me for this broadhead.
Now, so I bought these at Walmart. and I've ran them for years. Killed my biggest buck to date with it. My buck last year I killed with one of those. Now Magnus, obviously you can't go to Walmart and buy it. I ordered these online, and their warranty is top notch. You shoot a deer, goes through it, hits a rock, bends the tip, breaks anything.
And it looks like that tip's been a little.
Yeah, again, that's been shot at a deer. But you can contact Magnus and send this in, and they'll send you a brand new one.
Nice.
I don't think NAP is going to do that for you.
Right. And some of the broadheads we don't have on here. Rage and a few of the others. Again,
I do have a Rage right here. It's actually,
there it is.
It's actually what I switched.
That's
to
the hypodermic, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So how do you feel about the Rage? Have you shot anything with it yet?
When I first moved here, this is what I didn't use this exact one. It was a Rage. I shot a doe on public land, killed the doe, but both blades broke off inside the deer. That was a huge downfall. It killed the deer, but I didn't want to be field dressing my deer and find the blade.
Yeah. And again, this is all personal preference. Everybody's experience is going to be different. And what we suggest is you find the broadhead that is right for you, the broadhead that you like. Like I said, I shoot a certain type of broadhead that I absolutely love. Don't know if I'll be changing anytime soon. So make sure, that's our disclaimer. We can sit here and talk about these broadheads all day long, but it's really going to be personal preference. It's going to be what broadhead performs the best for you. And these are some of the broadheads that perform the best for you, Troy, correct?
Yes. So I will say on that note, like a mechanical, usually they're the easiest to get tuned to your bow. They do generally fly pretty true to a field point. Fixed blades are a little more finicky. That's why I went with this Magnus when I tried them. They were hitting half inch to an inch from where my field point was hitting, so there was no tuning involved.
So something that's come along through the ages is, when you used to buy field points, or I'm sorry, not field points, but fixed blades like this one here, you can resharpen these blades, and this one's been
that one's
through the ringer here. But now they offer to where you can actually buy replacement blades like this Muzzy here. You can actually replace the blades, and it looks like the Magnus is also a replaceable blade. So that's another thing. But if you're into sharpening your own blades, that's something else you can do to get a lot of use out of these. So again, out of these broadheads here, and we'll move on to these next three here in just a minute. But out of these broadheads here, on a rating of a 1 to 10, what would you rate these broadheads since you've used and killed deer with each of them?
So I'm giving the Magnus an 8, hands down. The only thing I didn't like was the blood trail. I went with the model that didn't have the bleeder blades on it, which is probably dumb of me. But again, they flew great, and I really liked it. They were sharp out of the box. And the warranty, these NAP kill zones, probably I'm gonna have to say 7.5. I mean, I've killed countless deer with this. I used these for probably 10 years before I actually switched to that Magnus. Killed plenty of deer. Never had an issue with a blood trail. Never had an issue with penetration or breaking. Now, the Rage, I haven't killed a deer with these yet this year.
With the hypodermic one.
So I can't give you a rating right now. But, I mean, they're sharp. The one that I used for, target practice, it flew great. It opened up on impact. And I shot it several times at my target. I didn't just shoot it once and say good.
Right.
The G5 Montec, personally, I got to give it like a 4.
And why is that?
Yeah, you can sharpen them. They're fairly sharp out of the box. However, I could not get these to tune to my bow. My old bow, they flew okay out of. This bow, not even on target. So I don't like them personally, and they're super loud going through the air.
So let's talk about tuning broadheads to your bow. So this one here, you said you could not get it to tune to your bow at all. But if you put another broadhead on the same arrow and shoot the same distance, the same,
completely different spot on the target.
So what are some factors you think that may be?
It's hard to say. It could just be, like guns, like certain ammunition.
Right.
My bow just may not like the 3-blade broadhead. I just shot, that bow to test it out for you with a Muzzy on it, and it flew great. So,
And if you have any ideas or any comments or anything about why this certain broadhead will not fly out of his bow the way others will, please post it in the comments below. We always like to learn. We don't know everything, obviously, but we like to know or learn. Maybe you guys know something different that we don't know. Again, when I first started shooting a bow, I was shooting the Muzzy 3-blade, the fixed blades, and basically, I mean, they had a few options back then, but the Muzzy was the go-to. I guess it's been around, probably one of the longest broadheads, and it's some people's go-to. You'll see that people won't shoot anything other than a Muzzy fixed blade. So we'll move on from these, and we'll move on to this one right here. I used to have a video, and I don't know if I still do or not. When I first bought my brand new bow back in 2012, my Athens Recluse, I was actually walking back out of the field, and I had these in my pocket, and I threw one on an arrow, and I'd actually shot a squirrel, and he was probably about 40 or 50 yards up in a tree, and smoked him with it. These are small animal game broadheads, and if you've never shot one of these, if you've never shot a small game with them, I urge you to do so. They're a lot of fun. You want to talk about them a little bit?
I honestly, I don't even know where this came from. It was in a box of mine, and I've never used one, never shot one. So
Okay,
I have zero input on these.
So it was kind of weird. So when I shot that squirrel, I actually ended up hitting him right here, and this thing like impacted. It's got like a hammer head on the end of it, and when it hit him, it kind of went into his skull, for lack of better terms, I guess, and just grabbed him, and he fell straight out of the tree. I've seen videos of people using them on rabbits, and squirrel is the biggest thing that I've seen them using on. I've never used them on a coon or anything like that. I'm sure you could. They're specifically made for small game, so you may want to check them out. Again, just one of those things. And there's several different types of small game broadheads out there, but this is one of the most familiar ones here.
Yeah, and I will say with those, a lot of us deer hunters sitting in the woods, the squirrels are
Load you a couple of arrows up
Yes.
and have these on hand, and you get those pesky squirrels that sound like the biggest buck you've ever going to shoot.
Yeah, and then you don't ruin your $30 broadhead.
Right.
So.
And before we get into the field tips, let's talk about price points on these broadheads. That's another big issue. I guess it's one of those marketing things that, you buy a pack of broadheads and they're $50 for 3 of them.
Yeah.
To me,
that's cheap for some of the broadheads now.
And it's kind of crazy to me, but the manufacturing and the time that it takes, I guess, to design these broadheads kind of factor into the price, and also the materials. Again, the broadheads that I shoot, I think they're $40 for a 3-pack, but it comes with like 12 or 24 replaceable blades. It comes with the O-rings. I mean, everything I need. And that's basically why I shoot those. The very first deer I shot with my broadhead, the wound channel on this thing and the amount of blood, I had blood on sides of trees.
Yes.
But again, all broadheads are going to be a personal application. If you like a fixed, stay with the fixed. If you like mechanical, go with mechanical. But try out different broadheads. I mean, give them a chance, and then if you don't like them, then you can always go back to the ones you've always shot. So.
And a big thing now is, you got those hybrid blades that are like a combination of your fixed and your mechanical.
Yeah,
I haven't shot any of those yet. I'd like to try them. But like these Magnus, I got them in a 6-pack, I think, for $70, which is pretty good.
That is pretty good for 6 of them.
I think.
So. Most companies that sell, I think, sell 3-packs
Yeah,
for between $40 and $50.
So these kill zones, they sell them at Walmart. I think a 3-pack, I want to say is like $30. Not too bad. $10 a broadhead. Problem with these, they're one-time use. And I recommend only using them one time. The Rage, I think we're about $50 for a 3-pack. G5s, I think I got them on sale. 3-pack for like $20. Nothing stupid. With the fixed blades, I do like the fact that you can sharpen them and reuse them. Now over time, you're going to change your grain weight, I think.
Right.
Because you're removing material from it. Muzzies, I don't even know what these cost anymore. I haven't really.
We were just at a sporting goods store, Turtle and I, and we were looking at them, and I couldn't remember. I felt like they were like $25 to $30 for the pack, and it comes with a bunch of replaceable blades.
Yes.
And you actually put these together in the package. It's just the shaft and the tip, the chisel tip, and then all the blades are separate, so you put them together. So let's talk about field tips. And now, obviously, every one of these broadheads have different grains, different weights, and you want to match that weight to your arrows that you use. And that's a whole different segment we'll get into. A couple of field tips we got here.
So these are the same weights. They're both 100 grain. A little bit different shape. This is more of a bullet point, and this kind of wider. I prefer, the bullet point looking ones just because I think they're more aerodynamic. They fly a little better, I think. The thing with the field points is they come in different sizes. So I ran into an issue earlier this year when I was building arrows. I just bought a pad, the only pack that I think Rural King had at the time. I think it was these ones, to be honest with you. And the head of it is actually wider than my arrow. So, you get it in a target and it kind of sticks in there. Do you have any of the 150 grain?
I don't know if I do. Yeah, maybe I do. Any of those?
No.
No, I don't think so. But here is, I do have this. I didn't realize I had this up here. I had 150 grain, the one that you gave me, but I don't know what I've done with it. So this right here is the practice tip for the True Blue Broadhead, and that's what it looks like right here. And you can take this and remove the chisel tip on it and put a fixed blade on top of this, which gives it an even bigger cutting zone. You can see we've been using it for a target, but these things fly really, really well. Even the actual broadhead itself, when I've killed 3 deer with it, and I haven't had to chase down any of them more than 50 or 60 yards. Before I was shooting a different broadhead, and I can't even remember what broadhead it was. And of course, shot placement is the key. I don't care what anybody says about broadheads. If you can get penetration or you can get a complete pass through, if you can get your shot placement where it needs to be, double lung, heart, whatever, you're going to kill that deer. You can literally take a field tip and you can kill a deer with a field tip. It's not recommended. I don't even think it's legal.
I don't think it is either. It's just like the 22. You can
Right.
kill a deer with it.
Right. But it's not legal.
It's illegal.
It's more of the humanely harvesting your animal.
Yes.
But I switched to these True Blues, and again, man, 30 to 60 yards, these deer don't go. And I'm talking blood. You can go to Running Arrows YouTube channel, and one of my doe hunts is on there, and you can literally see blood on the sides of trees. She was spraying so hard. And again, it's personal preference. Me and Troy can argue all day long about which broadhead's better, which one he likes better. It's just personal preference. So,
yeah, and like I said, as for the blood trail, I shot my buck last year with this, and you came up to help track it, which we didn't really need.
right.
After I shot it, it was 5 yards. I didn't get full pass through, but I had blood on the platform on my stand.
Yeah.
He ran into my stand. I think he went, 30 yards
30
maybe?
yards, I think.
The 2 doe I shot with these magnets this year, they both only went 30 to 70 yards. No blood. I found little spots of blood towards the end of where they crashed, but both pass-throughs. So it is all preference. I don't really have a preference, to be honest with you.
Yeah, some people are dead set on using a certain type of broadhead, and I like to experiment. I like to try
Yes.
different things, new things. So if there's any companies out there that happen to see this, feel free to send us some, especially the new companies up and starting. Um, but preference is a key. Shot placement is a must. Tune your bow to your broadheads. Now, your arrows fly different with field tips than they do certain broadheads. So you want to make sure you find somebody, or if you can't do it yourself, find somebody that can help you tune your bow to your broadheads. You know, your field tips are great for practicing and getting your shot groups together. But just we noticed the other day, Turtle and I was shooting his bow, and the field tips are flying different than his broadheads are. I think we're going to switch some broadheads around on his bow and see if we can't get his group a little tighter. This is his first year of actually bow hunting. He's been shooting a bow for a while, but he just hasn't been ready to go out in the woods, and now he feels like he's ready. So we want to get that tuned up, and we're probably going to recruit you on helping us do that.
That'd be fine.
But again, it's shot placement is preference. We can sit here all day long and argue over which broadhead's the best. There's tons of YouTube videos out there. But if you have any questions or comments, please leave them. We like to learn. We like to know, if we said something that doesn't really apply to a certain broadhead, let us know. We're okay with that. We've got big shoulders. We can carry that. So with that being said, check out Black Widow Deer Lure. They have phenomenal. Talk about some Black Widow. You are what are you? The ambassador
one
for
of the
Kentucky?
State ambassadors, yes. There's two of us. So we both had success with it. Obviously.
Well, I'll tell you real quick before you get into that. I've used everything on the market.
Same.
And you introduced me to Black Widow about 4 years ago, I guess.
Roughly.
And every year since then, I've killed a really decent buck.
Yes.
And this has played a big part in that.
Yeah. So, same with you. When I moved to Kentucky, I've tried other brands. Field staff for Running Arrow, and they got us onto Black Widow, and tried it. First year I tried it, I killed that nice buck that unfortunately we had to track for a mile and a half.
Right.
That shot placement. I typically run Black Widow. I start mock scrapes, early summer, midsummer, somewhere in there. And then once it gets closer to deer season, I'll start putting out like Young Buck, Scrape Master, really starting to freshen them up as much as I can. Doesn't always work as planned because time, money,
Right.
It's work. But once, season comes in and, rifle season or the end of early bow season into gun season, it's really about peak rut. I killed my buck last year with some V out. This is peak estrus. It's expensive, but in my opinion, it works.
Yeah. Well, you say it's expensive, but it's not because they have those packages.
Yes.
What's really cool about that is you have rut packages, you got mock scrape packages. They put this package together, and it's like right at $100, but you get like 6 or 7 different items. I mean, you get a lot of crap to do what you need to do to set these.
I say it's expensive because this bottle is going to cost more than this bigger bottle of Triple X, which is an estrus lure as well. But you only get this little bottle.
But that little bottle goes a long way.
It goes a long way. You don't need a lot of it. Obviously, deer smell a lot better than us. I don't recommend smelling that either because
yeah,
it is stout.
And we're going to do a whole video on the Black Widow Deer Lure lineup here in the near future. So we don't want to go too in depth on that, but we just do want to give them a shout out. The Stink Solution is a scent control solution. They use this whole system, which works. I'm telling you, it works. I've had deer underneath me in the wrong wind all year long since I've started using that. I really like using that. That is going to be in our giveaway. And once again, once we reach 1,000 subscribers on any of our platforms, we're going to do a big giveaway. You're going to get some Stink Solution, some Black Widow Deer Lures, some of the coffee, and we're going to throw in a bunch of other stuff. So make sure you like and subscribe. Again, any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. We do like to learn. We'd like to know your input on that. So until next time, y'all be good to one another.
Like and subscribe.